In today's video, we're going to talk about email encryption in Microsoft 365, what it is and why your business needs it. Plus, I'm going to show you how you can automatically encrypt every email that leaves your business. And I'll show you company branding, so you can brand your encrypted emails with your logo and your brand colours. But before we start, just a quick intro. My name is Jonathan Edwards, aka Bearded 365 Guy. I help businesses all over the world with the Microsoft 365. Now you can find me at bearded365guy.com. Now, to everyone's surprise, email wasn't designed to be secure. It was designed to be a simple messaging solution. But today, we send so much information by email, and lots of it is sensitive. Now, you've got to think about sending an email a little bit like posting a letter. You write your letter, you put it in the envelope, and you put it in the post box. But you're relying on different people and different systems to deliver that letter for you. Your only hope is that that letter reaches the other end without being read along the way. Now, the same can be said of email. Now, what email encryption does is encrypts the contents of your email. It scrambles it all up. So even if your email was intercepted, whoever intercepted it just couldn't read the contents. Now, fortunately for you, if you're a Microsoft 365 user, help is at hand, because Microsoft have their very own email encryption that works within Microsoft 365 and Microsoft Outlook. Now, you've got to have the right licensing for this. One license where email encryption is included is my favorite one. It's Microsoft 365 Business Premium. But you won't be able to use Microsoft 365 Business Standard. Now, the email encryption built into Microsoft 365 offers a really seamless experience with other Microsoft 365 and other Microsoft Outlook users. Even if the recipient of your email is using a different email platform, like Gmail, the experience is still really intuitive. Now, I'm sure you're dying to see how email encryption in Microsoft 365 works. Well, let's jump onto that computer behind me and I'll show you. So I'm logged into my Outlook now. Now, this is Outlook Web Access, so it's Outlook over the web, but it looks and behaves very similar to the new Outlook that you might have installed on your computer. If you're using the old Outlook, then the process is pretty similar, okay? So what I would do is I would click on New Email. I'll just pop this out so it opens in a new window. Now, I'm going to send an email to my colleague, Mickey Mouse. Okay, I'll enter a subject line, just email encryption test, and I'll just enter somebody in the email. Okay, once I'm happy with that, I will head over to the Options tab, and you can see that there's a little padlock here. So all I'll do is click on Encrypt. You can see then I get a banner at the top to say that this message is encrypted and recipients cannot remove that encryption. So I'll go ahead and send that. Now I'm going to send another email. I'm just going to do it slightly different. So I'll pop this out again. I'll enter Mickey Mouse again a subject, and then somebody. This time I'll go to Options, I'll go to the padlock, and I'm going to click on Do Not Forward. So again, this email will be encrypted, but in addition, the recipient can't forward it, they can't print it, or they can't copy content. Okay, I'll click on Send. Okay, let me head over to Mickey Mouse's mailbox. Okay, this is Mickey Mouse's mailbox. You can see the two emails here. So the first thing to know is both of them have got this little padlock here. That just indicates that this email has been encrypted. Now, if I launch this email here, you can see that this email just launched normally. Now, Mickey Mouse didn't have to do anything else. Again, the banner is at the top saying that this email is encrypted, but Mickey Mouse can then reply, it can forward, it can do whatever he wants with this email. But that email has been fully encrypted. Okay, if I close that off, let's go into the Do Not Forward test here. Okay, again, it says here, encrypted and disabled forwarding. So again, the email has been encrypted, but you can see here, look, the forward tab is grayed out. So Mickey Mouse can't forward that email to anyone else. You can see that the print tab is also grayed out, so it can't forward, it can't print. So it's an extra layer of security. So far, we've just touched on sending encrypted emails from Microsoft 365 accounts to other Microsoft 365 accounts. these emails get delivered and you can open them seamlessly. But what happens if you send an email from Microsoft 365 to a different address, maybe a Gmail address? Well, let me show you that now. So click on New Email again. I'll just pop that out in a new window. I'll send this to a Gmail address that I've got. I'll add a subject and some body, and I'll encrypt it. And I will send that email now. Okay, if I just head over to the Gmail account now, you can see here, I've received that email here. So let me launch it. Now you can see I can't read the contents of this email at the moment. I've got an email to say that Jonathan Edwards has sent you a protected message. So in order to read that message, I've got to click on here. And it takes me to like an Office 365 portal. So again, it says I've got a protected message. Now I can sign in with Google or a one-time password. I'll just do with Google. Click on my, and that will sign me in. Now you can see I can read this message. Now it's signed me in. If we look at the top, look, it is a Microsoft 365 portal. So I'm not reading the message from within my Gmail account. I'm reading it through the portal. But I can read the message. I can also reply within the portal. So I can go like this, and I can reply like that. So the behavior when sending emails to other email clients like Gmail is obviously different, but it's still quite intuitive. And it shows that you take your security very seriously. Now, to take things a little bit further, I received a call from one of my customers last week, and it went a little bit like this.
No. That's not going to work for us. People in our business are just not going to remember to click on the encrypt button. That means we won't encrypt emails. I need a solution where every email is automatically encrypted without user input. Otherwise, you're fired.
Bit harsh, but maybe you're like Fred and you want to control the security in your business. Now, Fred makes a good point. You're asking people to write an email and then remember to click on the encrypt button. Lots of people will just forget. Now, what if I told you there was something you could do in Microsoft 365 to make sure that every email that left your business was automatically encrypted? Or you could fine-tune this. You could say every email that was sent by anyone working in HR was encrypted, but we're not too concerned about departments like marketing. We can do all of that in Microsoft 365. Let me show you how. So firstly, we're going to create a sensitivity label, okay? So you need to be logged into the 365 portal as an admin account. Now you can see that I've got admin permissions here, so I'll launch the admin centers. And then what I'm going to do is click on Show All and go down to Admin Centers and Compliance. Once that launches, I want to go to Information Protection and Labels. Now, I've already created one of these labels. It's at the bottom here. It's called Email Encryption, but it takes 24 hours to set up, so I did that in advance of this video. I'll show you how I did this. I clicked on Create a Label. Now, you enter a name. I'll call that Email Encryption Label. You put the same in the display name. You can have a description for users, and you can have a description for admins, and you can also set a color. I'll click on Next. Now I'm going to deselect groups and sites, meetings and files, because I just want this label to apply to emails. Click on Next. We can click on Control Access, click on Next. Now we want to leave these settings as they are. Assign permissions now. We click on Assign Permissions, and we're going to choose any authenticated user. And we're going to leave this at co-author, so people have the ability to do these things here. Click on Save, and then we'll click on Next. We don't need to auto-label in this video. We can click on Next again. We can click on Next again, and we can create the label. Okay, so that label has been created. What we're going to do now is publish this label to users' apps. So we'll leave this setting here, and we'll click on Done. Now, I've created this already. As I said, this is just called Email Encryption, but I'll create a new label policy. I'll choose my new label, which is going to be at the bottom. So it's a duplicate of the one I've created. I'll click on Next. Leave that as it is. Click on Next. Click on Next. We can click on Next. We can click on Next. 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 Give it a name. Click on Next. And ordinarily, we will click on Finish. But as I said, I've got one here, my email encryption. And if I go to Label Policies, I've got an email encryption label policy already there. Okay, next, we want to create a rule that says that every email that we send from our organization or from a specific department has to be encrypted, has to use that sensitivity label that we've just created. So let's go back a step and go into the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, and we want to scroll down to Admin Centers and Exchange, okay? Once that launches, if you go to Mail Flow and Rules, and we want to add a rule, we want to choose Apply Office 365 Message Encryption and Write Protection for Messages. Give it a name. Then we want to apply this rule if the recipient, click on here, is external or internal, click on there. And then we want to choose from here, outside the organization, click on Save. Then onto this section, it says do the following, modify the message security, which is fine. We want to keep this as it is as well, applied 365 encryption, but we want to select something from here. Now this is going to come up with our label that we created earlier. So it's email encryption, click on Save, then click on Next. We want to keep these as it is, so enforce, we can switch it on, activate it at a certain time, but I'm going to do that straight away and click on Finish. Okay, that transport rule has been created, click on Done. But you'll notice it is disabled, so you've got to go into it again and you've got to enable it like that. Okay, that has been successful now. So I'm going to wait a few minutes and I'm going to hop over to the Bearded 365 Guy email and I'm going to test these new settings. Okay, I'm back in my Bearded 365 Guy email. What I'm going to do is click on New Email. Let me just pop that out to a separate window. I'll put the email address in the top bar again. It's going to be that Gmail address. Okay, we'll add a subject. We'll put some body. Now, crucially, I'm not going to choose to encrypt this, okay? So if you go to options here, you can see that no encryption is on it. So if I go back to message, and if I just send this as I normally would by clicking on the send, and if I just go back over now to the Gmail address here, you can see that this email is encrypted. So it says Jonathan Edwards has sent you a protected message. So even though I didn't encrypt the email, the transport rule has kicked in with a sensitivity label, and it has encrypted that message automatically. So that's how you do that. Now, before we go, I wanted to show you another tip, and this really is the cherry on top when it comes to Microsoft 365 email encryption. Now, when we sent that email to the Gmail account, you may have noticed that it all looked a little bit bland. What if I told you we could add your company logo and your brand colors to the email encryption? So when you sent these emails out, people got a very professional image of your business. Well, of course you can. Let me show you how. Okay, before I get into showing you this, I just want to direct you to a Microsoft web page where it talks all about branding your encrypted emails. I will link this below the video, but you can see here, here's the image of the email that's sent, and you can modify all of these items here. So your logo, your background color, even your text on your read the email. And it's just a series of PowerShell scripts, really. So that's all you do. So I've got a Word document here showing you what I'm going to do today. So we're going to connect to PowerShell. We're going to create a new branding template called B365 Branding Template. And then we're going to change the background color. We're going to upload a logo and just change a bit of encrypted text as well. And again, there's the link to that Microsoft website. So to prepare, I have put a logo on my computer in C Drive Logo Bearded 365 Guy. And what I'll do now is I'll start PowerShell and I will run this as admin. Okay, I'm going to log in as PowerShell. It's going to ask for the password. Type that in there, click sign in, a bit of 2FA. Okay, it's now signed us into PowerShell. So what I'm basically doing this command here is just creating a new branding template. And I've called this B365 Guy Branding Template. You can call that whatever you want, but I will copy that and I'll paste it into here. Click yes. Okay, that's now been created. Now I'm going to start configuring it. So with this command here, I've got a hex code of a color, which is just like a dark gray. Okay, that's all it is. So I will copy that in here. And I'm going to say, please set the background color to this dark gray. So copy that in there. Click on yes. Okay, the next one, I want to upload my logo instead of the Microsoft one. So I'll click there and copy that in. And yes. Okay, and then there's just some text that I'm going to change. I'm going to put here, the Bearded 365 Guy cares about your security. So here's an encrypted email, just for a bit of fun, just to see what you can do. Do that there, click on yes. And that's all I'm going to do for that bit. But you can see from here, you can change a lot more. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go back to the Exchange Admin Center. And what I need to do is create a new rule, okay? So I go to add a rule, I'll create a new rule, and I'm going to name it. Give it a name, email encryption branding. Apply this rule if the sender is inside the organization, okay? So anybody inside an organization that is going to send an encrypted email, this branding is going to apply. Then we go on to do the following. And we're going to go down to modify the message security. Click on the drop down here. And we're going to apply custom branding to OME messages. And then it's going to ask us which template. And you can see our branding template is there. So I can click on save. We then click on next. Again, we can activate it. We can enforce it at different times. Click on next and click on finish. Okay, that transport rule has been created. Click on done. Again, it's created it as disabled. So let's go in and enable it. Okay, that is now enabled. So let me hop over and I will test this new rule. Okay, I'm back in my Outlook. So let's send an email. Let's pop it out again. Put in the email address here. Call this a name. Give it some body. Okay, again, I'm not going to encrypt it. So I'm going to send this message now. And what it should do, because I've got two rules in place, it should automatically encrypt the email and it should apply our dodgy branding that we set earlier. So let's test to see if that works. Click on send. Okay, let's hop back over to the Gmail. And you can see we've got an email here, so let's open it. Firstly, the email is encrypted, yes, so we've still got to log in. But I've got my logo, I've got my hex code color that I had before, and I also put this text in here as well. So I've amended the way that looks. I've not spent a lot of time doing that, but I'm sure you can agree this looks a whole lot better than it did before. So you can go ahead and you can customize the branding on your encrypted emails. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's give you another essential tip towards getting the best out of your Microsoft 365. Look forward to seeing you again soon.